Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the Fujifilm X100, but the OG one, like the OG very first Fujifilm X100. A bit of a disclaimer though, this camera is not my camera. This is my partner's camera. So when I got my Fujifilm X Pro 1, she got the Fujifilm X100, and I'm actually kind of jealous because I wish I got this camera instead of the X Pro 1. But I got the X Pro 1 because of the rangefinder and the ability to change lenses, where she's not really a photographer in general. So we got her this one just because it's a lot easier for her to use. But I've kind of stolen it. So now I claim that, I don't claim that it's my camera, but I like to make content with this camera because it's obviously such a beautiful camera. We don't shoot it as much as we should. I mean, the image quality of this camera is fantastic. A lot of the pictures that we did take with this was when we went on our trip to Ireland in 2018. And we have shot it around Cape Town sometimes, but more her than me. I have so many other cameras that it's difficult to not just take this one. Some things I really like about that, and this camera that I want to talk about, is just the size of it. Firstly, is really small. I would compare it kind of to my X-T20. Obviously my X-T20 has the top viewfinder, where this one kind of has the rangefinder, and it has the optical, and then also the electronic viewfinder, which is really nice. One thing I don't really like is that the screen is very static, so you can't move it. I don't really move it a lot, but I don't know, I just feel like the newer model, I think the X100V has that feature, which is, it's quite practical, I assume, especially if you're shooting low down. And I'm quite tall, so I have to shoot low down quite a lot. I heard a lot of people complain about this autofocus speed of this camera, but as I said, I didn't really use it that much, so I can't really comment too much on it. My partner didn't seem to complain, but I don't think she knew any better in terms of other cameras. My X Pro 1 also wasn't the best at autofocusing. I remember always having to just do like spot focus. It didn't have like tracking autofocus or multi-point. Well, I didn't really use the multi-point. I didn't find it as accurate as kind of using that little box, putting it on someone's eye, and then focusing with the 35mm f2. The size, I love it. In terms of the image quality, I love it. We've played a bit with presets as well, kind of things that look like the Pro 400 film. And they came out really nice. Don't shoot RAWs on this. This is just a JPEG camera. Overall, it's a beautiful camera. I think it still holds its weight to this day. So it's very simple and easy to use for anyone really. And I would recommend it, but I know it's really expensive to find this thing right now. When we bought this back in the day, I think she got it for about 6,000 Rand. And that was already like 5 years ago now, I'd say. I got my X Pro 1 for less. But I also had to buy a lens separately, so in total it was more, but the body alone was less than this. Honestly, I would have bought this back then if I looked back to what the cost of these things were now, just because I remember there was an X100X and an X100T for sale during that time, and even those I would probably grab one if I found it, and I had the money left like lying around. I'm not too big of a fan of buying new cameras. I'd rather buy like secondhand used cameras. I just feel like you can get really good deals and then also really good quality cameras if they take good care of them. So I definitely think it's worth it to buy these things secondhand instead of new. Talk a bit more about the image quality on this camera. So as we know, it's got that OG Fuji sensor, which has like a very special way of kind of replicating a film-like look, very similar to the X Pro 1. I've always liked the lens on this camera because of the field of view. I remember buying my 35 f2, but back then I didn't know too much about the focal distance. So I used to shoot film, so I would then shoot a 35mm, and I liked that look. But then I got a 35mm on a Fuji and it looked completely different. And I was like, damn, I messed up. Yeah, I definitely prefer like shooting a 23 now, a 25mm equivalent, well 25mm, so that it becomes like a 40mm equivalent. Always like that range, and this camera has that. So every time she took pictures of something, then I took the same picture, I was like, her pictures always look better because there was more detail, there was more in the scene. It told them a better story than kind of what I was getting where I had to. But then again, I was just switching lenses. I had a 135 vintage lens with, I think it was also an f2, and then I had some zoom lenses and stuff like that. So this was a very quick video, shorter than my usual ones, just because I know that I don't have too much to say about this camera, just besides how much I love it. But I haven't used it enough to kind of do a full-on review with it. In 2023, would I recommend this camera? I might, if you can find it for a good price. I wouldn't pay more than like, 5,000, 6,000 Rand for at least an X100 to an X100T. Maybe 8,000 Rand from T to F. They do have the X100Vs in stock in South Africa, well, last time I checked. and I think they're about 24,000 rand or something like that. So anything that's half the price of that, and it's an F, I would say it's a decent deal. But obviously, yeah, it's difficult to find these cameras. They're so popular right now. There was an X100S that was around for a while, but someone bought it, so I'll have to wait even longer until I have the money to be able to even find stock to buy it. But they do pop up now and then. They're quite popular in South Africa, and secondhand, they're quite okay to find. I would actually like to find an X70 or an X20, but those are harder to find. But they're very cheap here. I've seen them once or twice for like 3,000, 4,000 rand. But I've never had the chance to buy it because every time I look again, they're already sold. If I don't get this, I would probably get a Panasonic Lumix X100, just because I've heard good things, and they're also kind of similar rangefinder style, but I don't think they have the optical viewfinder. But I would be okay with like having a smaller sensor and stuff like that, just to kind of get that experience of having a really small, easy to carry point and shoot. I guess it's like a premium point and shoot camera, right? With a prime lens on it. I also like the Sony RX100s. I heard good things. I almost bought one of those last year, but someone bought it before me. But I heard good things about the 35 full frame in that body. Is quite interesting. So thanks for watching this video, guys. I hope you did enjoy my quick little overview about this camera, a little bit of backstory about it, and kind of how times have changed since then and how expensive things have gotten since then, right? But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, do leave a like, do subscribe, and yeah, you can check out any of my other videos over here. And yeah, chat soon. Bye.